Welcome and thank you for clicking on my video this morning. We're going to have some live show here, looking at some daily expected moves for the SPY and the Qs, looking at some reversal signals going on across the board on the macro scale, and if they can confirm, we still do have the opportunity to curl up one more time, but it is a good time right now to look into maybe getting that course or getting the Patreon, because those things will be very, very helpful to you in the near future, because I believe volatility is remaining elevated for a good reason, and I think we're about to see some kind of bear market. So let's get into it today. As we look forward, there's two things I wanted to start off with. One, I hate the cold. It's very, 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 very cold here. I hate it, hate it, hate it. Two, we have to be paying attention if there's one more rigged move up. And the reason that we're going to talk about one more move up is just because we get earnings tomorrow. So if we're not able to confirm some key signals today, and I think for the SPY, that's going to be this 4 hour. I think if this 4 hour confirms, I'm pretty confident in saying, yeah, we're going to end up heading down, even going into next week. But for now, we have not confirmed that. We do get a very important earnings tomorrow, which is TSM. So we have to be paying attention to this guy tomorrow, because this is when it's going to be really important. TSM showing not the best signals here, right? It is showing some divergence. Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Am I crazy? And why is the camera not on? As far as I'm concerned, TSM should be coming out, I believe it is tomorrow morning. And that's going to mean a lot, because the semiconductor market has sold off a pretty good deal. Okay, we're seeing it kind of bounce back up, but we do get it. I'm not seeing more. I think it's in the morning of tomorrow. So tomorrow we will get that, and that's going to be important. So we can see if in the shorter term, we can see some kind of little move up here, maybe cause some kind of double top for TSM. But I think it really depends on the earnings here, what's going to happen going forward. All right, I think this is going to be important. And we look at the daily, and we notice some divergence holding all the way across here, some double top divergence, probably some weekly divergence in here as well. So if there is weakness for TSM, I assume that it will be pretty damn big. I believe that for tomorrow, it has a 6% expected move. But we know moves go a little bit harder than that these days, right? So TSM, if it does come out with something, it's pretty much supposed to, according to the options market, get about a 6% move, either up or down with that news. We'll pay attention to it going forward, because NVIDIA has already fallen pretty dramatically, and we look at this 30-minute and we go, okay, maybe we're going to build some structure. Maybe we're going to go down in a good way, which is kind of what a bear market does, right? It doesn't just flash down. Sometimes we get that first flash move down, but for the most part, we were able to hold in this area, which is what we really needed to break through. We're retesting it now, taking it back. Let's see if this can curl up and curl right back down, because I think a good little trap here would make some sense. As we go over to volatility, you're noticing that is still trying to tick up. As we look at the dollar, you notice that that is trying to hold up at higher levels, but notice that the 2 hour is showing a ton of divergence here for the dollar. So be prepared if TSM gives some good earnings for maybe the dollar to back off, and maybe even stocks to go a little higher. But what we're paying attention to is, I think we're going to form that major top this week. And I think this may extend just a tiny bit if that earnings is good to that weekly expected move. This would be a perfect trade setup for us. So we're not hating on this by any means. We just want to pay attention to how we can get screwed. If I'm taking volatility and this 30-minute turns up, I don't necessarily want to hold on to that anymore, because I want that to build up and give me the next reversal signal. It kind of tells me maybe my timing is just a little bit off. But so far, we do have some great confirmation from the 2 hour. So none of that has to happen, right? That's why I'm mostly scaling in case these moves are kind of quick. None of that has to happen, taking longer expiration in case we just need to shake off some kind of TSM earnings and then bad things start to happen. But for the most part, we're starting to complete some stuff here. And so what we want to see is this 2 hour ever going to turn down? Right now, I don't think it will. It's just starting to go positive. But we can consolidate for all of today and then see what happens tomorrow with that earnings. I think that's going to be big. As you can see, our little setup that we were talking about early on in the week was TLT with the triple divergence, and that is projecting higher, pretty much going to a little bit above a weekly expected move. So just pay attention at this level. This is where you can start to see resistance, but in the long term, you do have a 2 hour divergence. So you want to see if that is curling up the daily chart. I know we're clicking around a bunch, but if that daily chart can turn up, there's no real reason for us to be like, oh, this has to fall down anymore. No, on the daily scale, you would have daily momentum. If you wanted to build good structure, somewhere to get is 98.81 or something like that, right? We get up to these levels, we curl down. That would be the good structure to overall head higher, right? We see this big head and shoulders, and then boom, we take off for TLT. So really paying attention to this, because TLT, I am an investor in TLT. Already put in slight investment there, and what I like to do is I take a smaller amount with the shorter time frame signals, and then when I see the bigger time frame signals curl up like a daily, then I can reapply the rest of that position. As we look on the weekly scale, we see that that is turned down, so I got to be a little bit cautious with it, right? Because that's turning down by negative territory a little bit, so I just got to be a little cautious with it, and that's why I'm overall just saying I take a smaller position with the smaller signals, and then once the bigger signal goes, I go. That's kind of how I like to do things with TLT in this type of environment. Looking forward, though, we can pay attention to a lot on these 30 minutes. We can click through a lot of these guys, right? We can see that we might want to get some kind of bounce today, okay? Apple is starting to drop off. That's one that we need to pay attention to on the 2-hour. 2-hour drops down, got to pay attention to it. Pretty much holding those flat divergences all the way across, has daily divergence as well, so pay attention if there's weakness there. Tesla, no real signals to go off of here. You would just say continuation looks like the most likely thing right now, but if we do get that bounce up, just look if that's some kind of rig move, because this is where sellers can be lurking in that zone there. Starts at about 231. Amazon, that one's saying, hey, I want to go green today. I want to go green today, but you're noticing that flip. So if that is going to flip, this could just be some kind of ABC move. Pay attention if any divergence forms. But I think the only time that you really want to pay attention to divergence here, I think the 2 hours what you want to watch. That is curled down. If we get that move down like this, pay attention if divergences form, right? We're paying attention to both sides, even though I think this will end up being bad for stocks over time. I still want to pay attention to the current price action, and right now that 30-minute is turned up for Amazon. Let me extend this over a little bit. NVIDIA, key thing with NVIDIA here for the 2-hour chart is going to be the fact that it crossed down. No real reversal signals on the RSI. That's kind of why I'm saying we could make one more move higher. 30-minute, you notice this. Not the best reverse signals, very flat, okay? Downward, yes, very good trade setup. But some of these I like to take profit on a little earlier just to make sure, hey, I'm not going to get screwed. But for the most part, if this 30-minute doesn't curl up today, I don't have to do anything. But I do want to make sure to be taking profit throughout these kinds of moves until that big move comes, or managing my risk. Alrighty. AMD, one thing to look for here is some kind of rebound, right? We saw dramatic selling. So a lot of the time, dramatic selling can lead to rebounds, but you'll notice that our 160.83 level has some liquidity there. If we wanted to go test the breakdown area, that would be about 161.95, right at these lows, right at these wicks. That would be where I think we get a retest of, then we see if that can fall back down. So we're still paying attention to all these things, but a lot of things look just pretty bad. As you can see, Meta curled down on the daily scale with 2-hour divergence, saying downside is the most likely option for Meta. Looking for Microsoft. Microsoft, one thing that we wanted to discuss on Microsoft, something I was looking at last night, was didn't this look rather flaggy? When it's controlled like this, you really have to pay attention when you get like a controlled little move like this, because this in some way could be a big cup with that handle, so that can drop down lower, maybe end up in our zone down towards 393.20. I think that's a good level for us to pay attention to at this moment. Remember that the daily scale is negative in negative territory, but what we need to see going forward is, I would say this is more likely going to be a 4-hour curling down. But if we wanted to, we can look at a 2 and just say, hey, that's still close enough to, actually 2-hour looks pretty good there. I kind of like that. So 2-hour curls down, not going to be the best sign for Microsoft going forward. Watch out for the earnings tomorrow, though. Earnings tomorrow can mess with a lot of stocks. This is interesting. We weren't really holding up well towards this level. So for Google, watch if that 2-hour does rotate back down. That can just be a simple, hey, maybe we wanted to make some kind of cup and handle. We just got excited, right? And then we get this big handle. That means we can build liquidity, maybe end up down towards 153.87, maybe a little higher up, maybe something towards 157.71. We try to catch a bounce, and then we retest those levels of the breakdown, right here at 162.50, and then we go hit 153.87. Netflix looked terrible. Netflix looked terrible. Tons of divergences here on the 2-hour, tons of divergence on the 4-hour. You can see how clear that is for Netflix at this moment, confirmed. Right over here, actually, right here, we were confirming at 712 all the way down to 704. As you look on the daily scale, that has confirmed divergence as well. This is saying that on the weekly scale, we might start to roll over for Netflix. And the problem with the weekly scale right now is you have a very dramatic divergence here. So if you're gonna head lower, an area we can react to, there's lots of little supports in here, but for the most part, you wanna say, okay, if we kind of stair step down, well, it's gonna be like this, like this, like this, and then maybe you get that bigger reaction for a bigger right shoulder, right? So something like this, that in the future is kind of what I'm looking for. AMC is seeing some decent price moves as of this morning. Up about 0.72, not too bad there. So what you want to see here is just the daily scale turning up, and we want to see the same thing for GameStop, and you notice that is showing a little bit of green. So what we like to say is with these cross-ups, you can take it if it's a bad bar, right? We say you can take it, but you just got to treat it with a little caution. We like to see some kind of positive bar, at least when this is crossing up, if I'm going to make a decision on that day. If I see some kind of bar like this and we just sit here all day and then tomorrow I see that, then I can make a decision. Or if I start to see extreme positivity, maybe in shorter time frames, I can make a decision there. If I don't see the 2-hour cross down, then I can make a decision. If I see the 30-minute cross up, I can make a decision, right? So there's a ton of things to look at here. 30-minute crosses up, awesome, I can be in, and then if that starts to turn right back down, I can be right back out. SMCI seeing some positivity as of right now. We notice that the 2-hour is still in positive territory, trying to kind of carve this out, trying to pull back with time, and seeing if that can curl up one more time for a big move as you're creating okay structure. I wouldn't say like the best in the world, kind of like a failed cup and handle here, failed. Now you have these lows. You might have a little divergence down here too, actually, on the daily scale. So you had divergence at this low on the RSI, and now you actually are coming down to these points again. So this was the lowest point. There's the close. You pull that down. Okay. So from here to here, you do see divergence there as well. Rejection divergence on the big move up. We'll see if that can project things a little bit higher for SMCI, but it's been a little bit weak for some time now. Mara, we noticed that hey, created that higher low, curled up into positive territory, so we'll see if that has more room to the upside. Bitcoin really helping that out. Okay, now Bitcoin here, we do need to talk about for a second, because you have a little tiny daily divergence on the MACD, not on the RSI at the same time. So it's just something to pay attention to. We notice that the 2-hour at this point does look a little bit weak. You see how we're just getting those little divergences form up in here. Just tells me maybe we need to pull back before we head a little higher. Maybe we need to consolidate a little bit before we head higher. So that's something I'd be paying attention to. Palantir. A very key thing with Palantir is you notice there's no real reversal signals here. There's really not. So Palantir can make another move higher. The 30-minute didn't necessarily have the best reversal signals, but did have actually a double top on a 30-minute, right? We want to see reversal signals on a 2-hour, but this 30-minute one has proven to be very, very good. Noticing that's dropping to the downside. Somewhere we could probably hold up is around 40.21. We do have weekly expected moves for all the stocks that we're talking about right now. So if you want to check those out, join us on Patreon in the link in the description, where we gave out the Amazon play. We probably should have gave out the TLT play, but we were live talking about that one. DIA going to be a key one as well. Okay, we're trying to test that area where we can start to break down. We're in the area where we really wanted to get that cup all the way to, you see that little bundle there, it gives you a nice little bridge to make that cup, and then you want to say, okay, can we make that handle to then turn down? Well, that's going to be very dependent, I think, on TSM still. I think TSM is going to move a lot of things if it can. As of right now, SPY just continuing the selling. If the selling does continue and we get down to these levels, get extremely oversold, watch out if TSM earnings comes out and this type of thing starts to happen, right? This is another level. We kind of have those stair-stepper moves where if you wanted to complete another cup this week, it would be right here. See if you get that handle, see if you cross down. We have a lot of structure to break through here actually for something like the SPY. All right, NVIDIA starting the day up just a little bit. pull up some stuff here. And we will look for reversal signals in volatility too. Volatility will be interesting to see if, but you're just not seeing them right now. See if that 4 hour curls up. That's going to be a little bit more of a problem. Then you're kind of just, if you're a bull, you're kind of praying that that TSM earnings are good. That would be quite the little gamble, wouldn't it? It's printing, Nazim. Yeah, pay attention to weekly expected moves as we're still early on in the week, right? We're still only halfway through the week. We need to pay attention to weekly expected moves. But Palantir going down to 41.58, so I could just quickly go look. Okay, weekly expected moves. What am I looking at here? A little bit lower, just barely. About a 0.5% or something like that. I think a PCC will be interesting because people were kind of in the middle for most of the day yesterday. In the middle for most of the day, but we did flash to that put side, then we start to cross back up. Or sorry, we flashed to the call side, then we started to cross back up. Man, maybe it just takes off and keeps going, right? What we're looking for are the macro signals to complete. That's what we're looking for here. 4 hour, mainly the daily, right? We need the daily to curl back down, which means we're going to need this to probably lose that 9, right? Because this little orange line kind of follows that 9. That's why we use it. So if that curls over here, well, that 9 can be taken out. Maybe we cross down, and then that says, okay, now we're going to head to at least retest a key level. And then we have to see if there's basing out signals right here. But if we can create some structure to really break through that cleanly, we could end up a little bit lower, right? 553.69 by the end of the month. That's our monthly expected move downside. And if this takes them off guard by any means, we can see something bad. IWM trying to project to the upside, curling up into positive territory. Looks great, except, ooh, this could be triple top, right? We do still have the chance here. Watch if that rolls down. For now, you got stuff rolling up, which is a good thing. Everything's kind of turning up, staying higher, staying higher, staying higher. A little flash move down to get you out of oversold conditions. We'll see if that can push through. A lot of that's going to depend on GME. A lot of that's going to depend on maybe a move from AMC. And AMC did have something interesting here, by the way. I was looking at this on a 30-minute last night, and there is a tiny, tiny thing going on here. Tiny little divergence here for AMC. We'll see if that has anything to say today, or if they're going to clamp down on the stock like usual. NVIDIA just got to see if that 30 minutes turning up, because its real breakdown area is very high up. It's up towards like 137.50. It really is right here. You can see where that really started to escalate was right after the cross on Monday. So it's a good thing we were paying attention to that. All right, now we can go maybe test this level, get that retest of the channel a little bit, and then see if that turns back down. But just be open to positivity if positivity starts to happen, right? Just be open to it. If you're open to it, then you can react, and then you can always react again the next day, or do what I'm doing and kind of just scale in. I like scale in moves. All right, how are we doing in the chat here? Rising wedge crash will happen. I just think it'll be a little bit more complicated than that. I think yesterday took market makers off guard, so I think we could see some interesting behavior today, and I want to be open to positivity, right? Even though I'm leaning towards that at this moment, we haven't crossed over the macro signals. So for the Qs, you do have a little bit of a wedge. I just want to be open to it. That's it. Still holding on to my short, still chilling. Costs? Oh no. Oh no, costs. Wow. Now we gotta watch when cost moves, you gotta watch out because this is something that moves with GameStop. Very interesting. And I don't think this move was July. That was July 1st. I don't think GME had a move July 1st, did it? That was July 1st, right? It tried to have that move July 1st. It tried. Very good move, though. Very good move. Right, that was July. It moved back in May 3rd. That's when GME had its moment, May 3rd, all the way up into May 14th. So see what happens with this going forward. I probably could get rid of this and just go that way, and that would probably work, but mainly just want to see that daily curling up, and that's what you're seeing right now. But it is on a negative 0.09% move, so usually I want that to be a little positive, but we'll see. AMC looking a little positive. We'll see what happens with this one as well. We're breaking down as of right now. You see the triangle we were trying to form really broke down through that. They did not like the fact that AMC did all this. They did not like that. Let's get rid of some of these levels here. Let's just look at it with a clean look. Halloween rally. No Santa rally this year. Well, I think that would really add up to TSM having a good earnings. So that's very dependent, I think, on TSM then. Ooh, Nvidia's starting to give it up a little bit. Oil, interesting that oil would see a bounce though. Interesting to see that oil would go up with the news that Israel is not going to attack oil facilities, nuclear facilities for Iran. That is going to be a good thing for, that's the 10-year. I'm just realizing I'm on the 10-year. That's a good thing for oil. Crossing down on the daily scale. So look out if that does cross down. You can see more downside, but if it holds up today, that's something to pay attention to. Does it have a chance to hold up today? You don't necessarily have a 4-hour divergence. Look if that curls up, but the 2-hour, see if we have any signals in here. Not really making the best double bottom, that's for sure. So no real reversal signals for oil. Palantir now below the weekly expected move. I still think a move to 40.07 would be nice. ASML was crazy. I did look at this. Very, like a horrible move. And the thing about this was, I think it was like the earnings got leaked a little bit early. Gosh, that sucks. But for the most part, you know that earnings is a 50-50 flip. Bad things can happen even if you have reversal signals, right? Because I see this type of look and I go, oh, this has some kind of maybe daily divergence. It did. But the divergence actually was not on the MACD and RSI at the same time. So pay attention when they're not at the same time for if that thing is going to be weak, right? We get the breakout with no handle. We just try to break out. So then a lot of the time when you break out early without making a handle, you'll dip down again to make that handle in the future. So just notice that first off. But second off, just know earnings is a rough thing to get into because you had divergence down here for the MACD. You got the bounce, but it looked very lackluster and boom to the downside. So was not planning on trading this at all with the earnings, but it did get leaked a little bit early. Like they had like a glitch or something and it accidentally got posted to their website, I think it was. And that is unlucky. Tesla, no real reversal signals. So if this does bounce, it's just a bounce from oversold conditions. But for the most part, you would say, hey, it's really pulled back with time. If that curls down, I need to pay attention. The likelihood to bounce is better if you had that divergence point, which could be down here in our little buy zone, which starts somewhere around 211.50. Nvidia giving it up so far. Ooh, very high PCC. Very high PCC. See if that dollar turns down, but you have a pretty damn high PCC. Probably a little 15-minute trying to form here for volatility. Maybe just, I like to look into 30 minutes more so. TLT just screaming. All right, the Dow really basing out there. I think I want to do something here. I think I want to do this. That is some reversal there. We'll see if that holds. All right, let's look for that just in case. Not making any moves just yet. Really just want to see maybe shorter time frames if anything's adding up here. Nothing really adding up here. An Apple just falling off a cliff here. 2-hour cross is something to pay attention to with Apple. Amazon's going to be that 30-minute cross. That's what we need to pay attention to there. I mean, I'm not really seeing any signals that say like, hey, I need to get out of any plays. They might. I think Tesla's doing a lot of good things. And I think Tesla might be under fire for other reasons, right? This thing saw a monthly cross up. This thing saw a monthly cross up and then just failed. So it failed really, really fast, and that was mainly around when he started doing political stuff. So some investors might not be happy with that. Like, just they don't want someone talking about politics all the time, you know, as a CEO. What about UVXY? Well, UVXY is just going to follow volatility, follow the SPY. So if the SPY starts to turn around, then UVXY is going to suffer, right? I don't want to think about it too harshly, right? I don't want to think about it too much. I just want to say, okay, if the SPY turns down, then this turns down. But right now it's positive, and that makes sense. Volatility positive, SPY heading down. But the Q is really heading towards a weekly expected move at this moment. Heading towards a daily expected move at this moment. See if it can head down towards a weekly. But key thing with something like the Qs, by the end of the day, see if that red bar is still there. See if we have a negative bar and it's red. That's going to be a big deal. Obviously, TSM earnings can funk with stuff, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, let's look at DJT. And thank you so much for taking the courses, NF. I hope that they are overall helpful. It sounds like they are. Well, for DJT, we don't have reversal signals here. We finally see the 2-hour cross back down, right? The 2-hour crossed up for the simple swing trade, and that ended up being a great thing. Sometimes you just get lucky. You don't have to manage much. You see that curl up into positive territory for a swing trade, and boom, it takes back that 200. You see a good move. But the only thing that's going to be a big problem here is the fact that the 2-hour has crossed. It means that we could go through more of a pullback. We could really keep pulling back, maybe even retest lower levels because this was a very big move up. So we can retest those levels with that 2-hour cross down. So the 30-minute, if you want to see more positivity, you can see divergence all across this bad boy, but don't necessarily want to, if I'm taking a swing trade, I don't want to pay too close attention to these divergences, right? I just want to see if that bar closes below those moving averages. We teach that in the swing trading course a little bit. You can manage the trade early on and then get right back in. And then from this point, you're pretty damn positive. So managing the trade here, I mean, you can like take off a contract, take profit. You can take off a contract, take profit, take off a contract, take profit, take off a contract, take profit, take off a contract, take profit. You know what I mean? But you don't necessarily have reversal signals here. Not the best, right? Mostly just a 2-hour pullback signal. That's what it says for DJT. So I'd be paying attention to the next time the 2 hour is able to curl up into positive territory, right? I'd be patient with it, but that's how I see it. It's curling up some big stuff, which is awesome. That's true. Mark Zuckerberg actually in that conversation with Donald Trump did admit that he was suppressing his message back in 2020, back in 2016. He said he was also promoting the other side, right? So he was suppressing one side and promoting the other, and he said he's going to stop doing that because of the assassination attempt. Isn't that cool? I thought that was interesting, but he literally admitted to it. Yeah, I just follow SPY in general. I follow SPY in general for UVXY and volatility, right? So if I want to take a play on UVXY, you notice I don't click over to it a bunch. I'm just looking at the SPY, looking at volatility, and then saying, okay, is this a macro signal? Can I hold on to some calls for a, UVXY or something like that? Well, if I'm seeing the signals on the SPY confirmed to the downside and I'm seeing volatility confirmed to the upside, then yes, that is what I overall do. Yeah. AMC is up 1%. You need this to curl up on a daily scale. That's going to be the big deal. GME is a little closer to doing it, so you can watch that. They kind of work in tandem. But like someone said, people don't like the election thing, so maybe this is after the election that all this happens. Recent correlation would state that, well, the reason that this is a little funky is, and the reason that volatility is a little funky here is because you are remaining elevated for volatility. You're keeping the crash signal, keeping the crash signal, keeping the crash signal. What's the SPY doing though? It's actually going to a new all-time high. So that's a little fishy behavior, and you want to pay attention, because if volatility is remaining higher but we're going to all-time highs, that means volatility can go to extremely high levels faster. Right? We're at an all-time high. We should be down towards 1212. Wouldn't you agree? Would anyone in the chat agree? Remember, if you guys have been a part of this channel for a long time, when we talk about that level of 1212, wouldn't you agree that most of the time when we go and hit a new all-time high, especially twice in a row, we actually see volatility go make a divergence by 1212? That's not happening right now. So it's at 20, which means when this selling does come in, it can be a little nuts. Do you know what I mean? Because we've seen it get nuts from 1212. Now you're at 20 already. So it's like, what the hell is going on here? But yeah, so the last time we were looking for those tops, we noticed that there was some rejection divergence, right, at these lows. We said we're probably going to react, right? We said this, short squeeze, we probably react to 1212. We get a little bounce rejection from the 200. Everyone's screaming, the crash is here, the crash is here. And we said we just rejected from the 200. Watch for us to make divergences by 1212. We made a triple divergence by 1212 and turned up. And that was a massive move from 1212. If you're going to see a massive move again, let's just measure this out. Let's say you get the same type of reaction from, we'll even take when it broke above the 200, right? Same kind of reaction from right here. Okay, well, where are we right now if we're going to do that with this consolidation? Well, that would lead us a little bit higher. You might end up with volatility towards like 70. Now, one of the levels to the upside that I noticed we like to touch in crash scenarios is 85.93, just so you're aware. Got my big Netflix puts for earnings tomorrow. Yeah, be willing to look at those shorter time frames and see if the first move is the right one, because sometimes with earnings, you'll see that thing cross up and then turn right back down. Kind of like Apple fading most of its move. Like, yeah, it was a good gap up, but look where it gapped up to. It went all the way up to 237.35, but by the end of the day, you're at 234, right? So 234. So you actually went like 4 points. You went like 7 points up, 4 points down. And that's not a good sign, especially if we start to curl over 2 hours. I'm not saying that TSM has to have a good earnings and everything has to be peachy. I'm saying that TSM can affect the market and maybe we turn up for a moment for expirations, and then I think next week we start to see something bad. But if we're going to see something bad now, TSM earnings being bad would be the most obvious thing in the market. It just seems very obvious when I looked again at it after making my YouTube video. I'm just looking at the SPY and I go, this just seems very obvious and more controlled than I would want it to be, right? I want to see this continue. I don't want to see it doing this slightly, right? I want it to go like that if we're going to really see volatility turn up. And yeah, let's go check on the Dow. I'm going to check on the DIA. DIA is going to be key with the 30-minute curling up. All right, that's going to be the main thing to pay attention to. But if we want to go look at the Dow, you just have to look at this again and just say it's about the same. But DIA, I just like to point that out because that's the one we actually have ranges for. If this curls up, well, do we have the best reversal signals here for the RSI? Do we have the best reversal signals here for the MACD? And this is what I'm talking about, why I could see another move higher. No, we don't. So if this curls up, then it can go like that and be like, yes, everything's bullish. Uh-oh. Watch out if that has some turn down with it, because now you're starting to get weakness on every single time frame. That's kind of what I'm paying attention to for the time being. It doesn't mean I have to sell out of my shorts or anything like that. I can sit there, see it curl up, maybe take, because I have longer out expiration, right? Longer out expiration helps me with it. I can see something curl up. I could take another position and everything will be cheaper, get more contracts, call it a day, it'd be good. But for the time being, the PCC actually just adjusted down dramatically to 0.836. So people are really running. They were at the put side early on, now they're running to the call side. Running. Now, whenever this gets above to the put side and crosses back down, you want to see, because the actual signals here are when you go up to these levels and you cross through. When you cross through that red line, that green line, that's when you can start to see a bounce, right? Sometimes that's how you want to read into it, usually on the daily scale. But for the most part, you would say, hey, this could cause us to bounce, go to higher levels, set some kind of trap. Doesn't mean it has to happen. That's just something that I've noticed over the years while trading. 0.836, dollar still remaining, still holding at this moment. But yeah, gotta see. I think the Dow's a good one to watch though, see if that thing can curl up, because it's been leading a little bit of the time. Doesn't have to happen though, doesn't have to happen. Volatility really dropping off there. Okay, we're gonna do that. And I'm gonna look for, because I do want to make sure I'm repositioned. So one thing with UVXY, I do reposition it at some point, because if it's been a few days and I'm in profit, I can reposition, look for the further out date, right? I can look for a further out date. I can look for a good price point to pick and that kind of thing. So now I want to be paying attention to maybe this one. Let's see here. See if we bounce first, but no real reversal signals. So just taking a little bit off so I can sit here for a second, say if there is a bounce, then I can reapply some different contracts. So I just am trying to reposition those contracts for another, give me a little bit more time. Financials. This sector here, yeah, great. Little move to the upside. Fantastic. And this is kind of what we're talking about. Does it have great reversal signals? No. Does it have great reversal signals? No. A little bit higher there. You see that little blue peeking above there. So if we're going to go do something like this, right? Curl up for a brief moment, then get that trap set. Get that trap set. That would be a nice little look there. As we go into a 2 hour, you're going to notice what? There's not really the best reversal signals at this moment. So all of this could just be a pullback that then turns back up over time. And then this leads into a little bit more time. right? Now, do I think that's the most likely thing to happen? No, I think the SPY and the Qs are setting up to curl over some major things. So when you really blow this up and you look at the bigger time frame, you go, ooh, that's triple divergence on the RSI, divergence here forming for the MACD. Hold on a second, doggy's barking. Yeah, so the divergence is what I'm mainly paying attention to. The bigger time frames are what I'm really paying attention to. I'm just hoping the shorter time frames give me some signals first. But you're getting a little 30-minute 1-2 form here is what I think, but we'll see. VIX bouncing up on the 5-minute, someone's stating that. We're bouncing up on a 5-minute, okay? You still need this 30-minute to fully confirm back up, and that's gonna be the big thing here. So one thing you don't wanna happen is a little 15-minute divergence to be forming, and then you start to curl down. Okay, so we're rejecting that down right now, which leads to the 30-minute might pull back for a moment, which is actually an okay thing. It's an okay thing when it comes to structure, right? We do something like this, carve that out. So that's what I'm looking for by the end of the day, just looking for the SPY to make this move towards the daily. And then I can reapply some positions. Even if this curls up, I'm still gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna start scaling in here. And then if it goes a little higher, I can scale in again over here. Well, like when that confirms back down. So anytime that this confirms back down, anytime that this confirms back down, I can make a decision there. Thoughts on Foot Locker? And thank you so much for the donation. You donate and ask about a stock, yeah, I'm gonna look at it. The Foot Locker here, 30-minute, you're just in a pullback. That's the main thing you would say. Now, what happened? Well, the structure we needed to make, what happened? We broke through that really quickly. So don't be surprised if we reach all the way down towards 2350 to really solidify like, hey, let's grab those buyers. And thank you again, Short Fridays, for that donation there. Mainly, this was just 30-minute swing trade, boom, to the upside, but we're not making good structure yet. So we can get the first level you want to pay attention to is that level that we needed to make structure, right? 2450, which we've already seen a little reaction down towards. As we open up a 2-hour, the something you don't want to happen if you are going to make some kind of pullback to head higher, you do not want this 2-hour to cross. That 2-hour crosses, that's a bad thing. You can go make a divergence or something like that first. So what you're paying attention to here is 30 minutes pulling back, you need that to turn around before the 2-hour can actually cross and confirm that cross, meaning close down that bar. Because if that confirms, you want to pay attention to the bigger time frame, right? Obviously 2 hours is going to be a little stronger. As we pull up a daily for it, let's give you the full thing since you donated for it. You do have a daily divergence down here on the on the RSI, not on the MACD at the same time, very far away from that center line. So if this is a good move, well, it might need that structure to continue that good move, is what I would say. But if this is some kind of bounce that's going to reject off the 200, you're just going to see that daily get to the center line and cross down. So I think you really want to keep good structure here for Foot Locker. I think you want this 30-minute to continue to pull back, and then you just pay attention to if that 2 hours curling down. But 30-minute curls down, then once it curls back up, that's when I'd be paying attention, because the daily's, is it just crossing yesterday? Just crossed yesterday, so some consolidation today would be okay. All right, Dow seeing a good upward move now, by the way. Good upward move. So let's see if this thing can cross. Now, I'm going to look at DIA for this, just because I have a weekly expected move, and I want to make sure that that is higher up. And it is higher up. You can see a pretty solid move here. Maybe look at 434. If this curls up, test the high, go make a new one. Watch out for any point of divergence, right? That's what we're looking for to make a decision. And this could all happen today, actually. Ooh, Palantir. Okay, Palantir finally going down to that point we wanted to pay attention to, which was overall like 40, 50, right in these two areas, right into here. I want to pay attention to that. That's the last time I really think we had any kind of price action that can help us out. So this might be cup and handle. Doot, doot, doot. but this might be able to hold up, curl up into positive territory on, say, a 2-hour chart, right? 2 hours still relatively positive, no real reversal signals here. We just want to see, is the daily rolling down? If the daily rolls down, little different story, right? That's the bigger time frame, which means we could get reactions and things, but we might need to go all the way down to 36.21 before we see some kind of bounce, and that will lead you right into earnings. AMC now up 1.81%. You're very close. If this thing's up about 2%, you might be crossing up this MACD. Which means pay attention, because GME might see some positivity by the end of the day. If that's a positive bar in any way, if we can close above, what's the open yesterday? 21.45. I'd say if we close above 21.45, that would cause me to make a decision. Mara giving it up a little bit here. Microsoft, see that's why we're paying attention to it. 2-hour crossing down. It's not the best sign, right? It's just not the best sign. Now you can go make a divergence, though. We'll see if that can make some kind of divergence here. Oh, sorry, I need to do a 30-minute for this. Dow wants to cross up, man. It looks like it wants to cross up, get people towards the call side right before the rug pull at the end of the week, maybe. Or maybe we're going to see this, you know, close out looking like, oh my gosh, we are breaking out. We're at a new all-time high on Friday, and then bad stuff over the weekend. We'll see. You don't have to guess. You just have to see if those are confirming and then make a decision. That's the best thing to say. The housing sector coming up to a key level here, by the way, just so you're aware. If we did pull back here, look how positive the 30-minute here is for the housing sector. So that's one to pay attention to, I think. SPY, not bad. Not bad, but is this going to be brief? Are we going to see us get ecstatic today to get people really excited? Is this going to lead into TSM earnings and then we see some faltering? We'll have to find out. We just have to let the price action play out, guys. IWM breaking out. Let's go look at that cost again. That's a good thing, right? Ooh, little fade there, little fade. So if it does pull back on a 30-minute, that's one thing to pay attention to. Good little breakout here for costs. Oh, Ari's not happy right now. Now, what's something that turned down? Apple. Apple, we don't want this confirming on a 2-hour. It might be right now. Nope, not really confirming on the 2-hour yet. Holding that divergence point. So if Apple wants to get saved here, we don't have the 30-minute reversal, and you're out of the you're out of overbought conditions. So we'll see if this can make another fake out move. Maybe we do another fake out and then see something like that. Or, you know, we are back down below that weekly expected move. Maybe we use that as some resistance at this point. Qs, a lot of 5-minute divergence here for the Qs. Once you start to see 3 of these, three like a triple divergence for a 5-minute, just pay attention. If that 30-minute crosses up, it means, hey, I might need to manage that trade soon if I'm taking shorts on the Qs. Macro signals have not confirmed yet. Not fully, right? Not fully. You can see the daily scale still turned up here. We're getting a little wick, so. Do I see any good little swings here? I mean, yeah, we got some potential swings going on, like DIA. Let's see if that posts in about 18 minutes. Maybe I'll scalp like a little swing or something. See what the cost is on these. I probably don't want to mess with anything to the upside. I'm always interested in how expensive things are. See how that posts in a little bit. No, nothing really good happening there just yet. Volatility really dropping off though. Like SPY should be popping. But the volatility of volatility is scaling up, so don't expect this to have to hold. Just means you're going to see more rip around moves from volatility, which means more rip around moves for the market. What does this look like on the shorter one? Just overbought for now. See the big 5-minute divergence. Once that goes positive, you have to be paying a little bit of attention. All right, Palantir. You gonna be able to bounce for a little bit, Palantir? What's going on? Gold, little 30-minute divergence there. We'll see if that completes. Tried to complete, then confirm back up. Just watch out for that cup and handle type of look. That 5-minute rotates down. That's not going to be a good thing. We didn't really make the handle here. What if we go make it now? What if we go make that now? Don't want to do anything like that. What's Tesla up to? Tesla trying to see some kind of bounce here. Wonder if that 2 hours gonna, yeah, 2 hours trying to confirm up. Maybe we buy ourselves a little time here, push markets higher, go make those divergence points by the end of the week. Yeah, that's not looking the best for DIA, so I'm being patient with it if in case I want to take some kind of like really short play to the upside. Hey, Short Fridays. Last week did a FinViz screen for low float, high short stocks. Came up with these and peppered in risk on them. AUUD, ATNF, GXIA, SNES, VCNX, RSLS. ATNF popped today over 900% this morning. Wow. Wow. Nvidia seems to be squeezing. Hey, thank you so much for the $20, by the way, Short Fridays. And let us know, keep track of that. That's pretty cool that that happened. Keep track of it and see if things can really be tested there. If a lot of those start to play out, that'd be interesting. As of right now, Nvidia is curling up on the 30 minutes. Got about 13, 14 minutes to post that. That's going to be key. AMC looking pretty solid there. Rejecting there. Not crossed up yet. You need another like 0.5, 0.4% to cross that thing up. Netflix earnings after hours on Thursday. I am a little bit tired. A little bit tired. It's mainly because of this. It's mainly because it's cold out. It's dreary. It's cold. Ugh. Yeah. Cold out, no fun. Oh, Wolf sit. Let's go look at Wolf real quick. I do not like the cold. I'm sorry, guys. If you're from cold places, I don't like the cold. So for Wolf, I mean, the times to pay attention are divergence, and it tells you, hey, this can take a long time to play out, right? Especially with stocks that have been beat up for a long time. They might need to build a bunch of buyers, and then you see that scoop to the upside. The weekly scale is turning up. No real good divergence, I would say, but weekly scale turning up tells me, hey, maybe we can go test a breakdown area on the weekly scale. Maybe we can get all the way up to $21, $21.50. That's all I'd really say about Wolf. I mean, on the shorter time frames, you're always going to say, okay, there's divergence forming now. If this turns down, okay, I want to pay attention. But I think the main thing, the good thing to do with stocks like this are just anytime that 2 hour gets by the center line and curls up, good things can happen, right? So we get pretty close to the center line right here, actually, and right here. This one, not the best play out. Then it curls back up right here, and you go, okay, there's the swing. Swings to the upside. That's all I would really see here. Low flow stocks under 2 million shares only need small catalyst to take off and pump and dump. Just got to sell before the dump. Definitely not. Yeah, those are scary ones. But if you play it right, I'm sure there's a way to make money. Palantir, I think we're reacting down to where we should bounce from. I think I wanted that reaction down to $40, $28, $40. We kind of went to the top side of what I wanted to react to, I would say. Right away at 40.37, and we're getting that bounce. So I think you're going to try to cup and handle here on a 30-minute. I think that makes the most sense. Very deep, very, very deep 30-minute MACD right now, reacting into this little area. Awesome. Can we see something like this form by the end of the week? That's kind of what I'm looking for here as we are out of that weekly expected move. Hey, get a little bounce, bring us up higher into that weekly, and then start to turn down, close in that weekly expected move, see some kind of big drop next week. That's kind of what I would see. But if this curls up and doesn't curl back down, then I have to be a little bit patient. Palantir has a lot of like pullbacks, right? 30-minute divergence, 2 hour just says, hey, I need to pull back. Daily, even if that crossed, right, that would just say, hey, I need to pull back, right? There's a rather flat divergence just on the RSI. I would more so say a more dramatic pullback, maybe to 36 would make sense. And for nail, a lot of the time, I'm just looking at HGX, just so you're aware. HGX, the housing sector, most likely I'm going to see nail up, right? So I see the housing sector up, then I'm probably going to see nail up. For the most part on the daily scale, you just might have bought a little bit more time here on the daily scale. If we can cross up, watch out if we make a new high, people get a little excited about the housing market, and then boom, see that start to turn down for home builders. So we do get some retail sales and stuff like that. I don't know if that would affect this actually. What's the other data we get? Do we get like housing starts or anything like that soon? Or did we already get that? I think we got that last week. Manufacturing, bunch of oil, some bill stuff, Fed balance sheet, building permits on Friday. Building permits on Friday. Building permits, housing starts month over month. All of that comes out Friday morning. So just be cautious if this is going up on Friday and or into Friday, and then we get bad data, be ready to react. If we wanted to build good structure here, I still think a 2 hour going like that would be good. So if we do that before Friday, if we do something like this before Friday, we can really start to see an upside move if we curl up and break through these highs. But for the most part, if we end up seeing what's happening now continue and we go like that, and then the daily crosses down after Friday, just watch out. That could be a pretty big sell-off. So yeah, I think Palantir is where you bounce from for sure, right? You get some kind of bounce. Maybe it's just consolidative pulling or bouncing with time. I really want to follow this guy, the Dow. I really want to follow this today. Seeing how this performs in about 8 minutes, because I don't like the look at that bar right now. Volatility is still just turning down though. Got on my thick pants. Thick pants for how cold it is out. It was like 94 3 days ago here, Kansas, man. 94 3 days ago. Now it's 40 degrees. Yuck. Volatility, watch out, that could curl down on an hourly. I think we'll look for hourly divergence if we're going to see that by the end of the week. 8 minutes left here for the bar for this guy. AMC is doing it. AMC is doing it. It's up. I mean, dang, 2%'s not enough, huh? You need a little more than that. Damn. I bet the top of this bar did it, and that's why it closes down. Just watch for if momentum can turn up here. GME actually looking positive now. That's a good sign. That is a great sign. Okay, GME looking positive now with actually like a green bar here coming above that level. I'd really like us to close above 2145. 2145. Take back the meat of that bar. Take back the meat of it. See that shit. Follow through. See that follow through day? Sorry, my mind blanked for a second. See what cold weather does to me. Yeah, see if that follow through takes place. That'll be a big thing. All right, let's see if that follow through takes place maybe the next day. AMC might need that as well. And then still just watching this. I think following this for now kind of gives us a direction for the market in the next, I would say, hour or so. If we can really get above some key levels, we're just seeing us go into some liquidity and see some selling step in. Yeah, it's a little slow. I think you can, I mean, like me, I have longer out expiration at good levels, so I'm not worried too much about them. Still ready to react, still ready to scale in if I have to and that kind of thing. IONQ, wow, you sound like my dad. I have looked at this. I have looked at this before. I have looked at this before. This is one that my dad is holding. His buddy was like, this is going to be a huge stock. And then I was like, well, it has good basing out structure here towards like 678 if that can pop up. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, this is one that he was paying attention to for the time being, just seeing that nice move up. Okay, awesome. Do we have reversal signals? Not the best. You do have some on the MAC or on the RSI, not the MACD. 2-hour pullback would make sense, but you're not getting those pullbacks, right? Daily's still taking over. Maybe see if this is a good investment, right? Monthly scale turns up. It says, hey, this might be a good investment for, say, 12 to 18, maybe 24 months, 2 years. So, happening here. But yeah, Uniworld, my dad has this. MACD green on the SPY. We'll see if that's able to turn up on the 30-minute. But yeah, that monthly is turning up for IONQ. I'm not saying it's bad. I just am a little cautious with the environment we're in. Hasn't fully crossed up yet on my MACD, so I got to pay attention to that. Qs haven't fully crossed up. Some 5-minute divergences down here, actually a bunch of them. So 30-minute can cross up here, guys. For something like NVIDIA, hey, that's popping up to higher levels. I think I want to do something here, actually. 30. Okay. We were just kind of sitting pretty. Going to manage some contracts just in case, because we're coming into the end of the bar and that's definitely crossing up. So positivity looks pretty likely according to NVIDIA. So now I really want to watch this Dow. I really want to watch the Dow, see if that thing's able to turn up. It looks like it might turn up before the SPY and the Qs. That's why I'm paying attention to it. Dude, seasonality is just not it right now. No. Seasonality would say we'd be pulling back into about this point, right? Seasonality would almost say we're pulling back a little dramatically to this point or early next week, and then we would start to go up a little bit. And maybe see that bull run into the end of the year. It's not adding up right now, so you're not seeing regular seasonality. So anyone out there that's like, hey, we're just skipping the seasonality, you might just be pushing it a little bit, which if you keep pushing it a little bit, the drop could be a little bit more. Oh, you're good, Ifoma. Yeah, VIX really dropping off here. So VIX dropping off, curled down on the 30-minute, okay, you see a little 15-minute divergence. Once again, if you don't have like the best position, right? This would be a manage the trade and then see if this thing's able to turn back up on a 30-minute, look for reversal signals in the SPY, look for those signals, because what we can do here is do something like this and then see something drop, right? And then that's the real signal we want to watch, right? We see this start to curl down. So that's if we're actually able to cross up. We're not crossing up just yet. Maybe TSM's able to save us for a little bit. I think something to watch is still this guy. I can't believe this isn't seeing a little bit more positivity. I'm still looking. I'm like, do I want to do it? Do I want to do this? If it curls up, do I want to do it? PCC dropping off, just, yeah, dramatic drop off, but still sitting right in the middle. So it's kind of which way are they going to get you trapped? If they push the market higher and we see people go like this and we see the dollar continue to just go bam, that's going to be a big problem. All right, that's going to be a massive problem. But this volatility is just dropping off. So if this is going to really trap people, I would like to see that trap set today. That last move higher, it just means maybe our timing's just a little bit off, right? Our timing's good for the NVIDIA play. It was very, very good, right? You notice that little blip right here. If you took the course, that's when it says, hey, make a decision. This is why I said I'm scaling in here. If we make another move higher, I'm scaling in up here. That's exactly what happened by a weekly expected move. Now we're getting a reaction up. Most likely thing to still happen here is look how deep that MACD is, right? We're going to be at overbought conditions probably up towards 138. Maybe we go retest the real breakdown area, which I believe is like 138. We still can do that. So futures does help you out at times. Okay, futures does help you out sometimes. There was a moment in the past, I want to say it was really recent. I want to say it was somewhere in here. Kind of was, but I don't know if that was the exact time. Yeah, I mean, I think it was here, but I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to go back and look at my videos. Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at my videos, but sometimes I'll look at futures. I will talk about them if I see a signal. I've posted futures to Patreon before just to be like, hey, look at this signal happening overnight. Look at the dollar, what's happening overnight, right? Those kinds of things. But you can see how it's such a similar look to the 30-minute here. You just need the 2-hour to cross up. So during the day, I like to watch the SPY, but I will use analysis on the futures if we see something funky overnight. I think the time I'm thinking about might have been further back than that. And we saw like almost a 1% drop overnight, and then it completely built back up by morning. And that's what we were posting. We were like, there's some weird divergences forming here on the futures because we dipped down by that 1% overnight. It doesn't show up on the SPY, right? That's more what I'm paying attention to when I look at futures. I have not tried it with Forex, no. No. I'm if it's working, I'm sticking to it kind of thing right now. Right? My strategy's worked really, really well for me forever now, so I'm like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm overall thinking with my stuff. So see if this 30-minute can cross up here for the Dow. Volatility has dropped off pretty dramatically, honestly. Volatility starting to drop off too, but this is dropping down. See if we can start to maybe hit a daily expected move, and then we can make a decision there. Daily. Now, we do have a moment where today, if we see something crazy, watch if the SPY sees something crazy. Because this move is here, the Q's move is way up here. So if we need to test both, the Q's go test this, most likely the SPY will actually go a little higher and get out of that area. So watch, we could have a divergence outside of a daily expected move that gives us a little hint. Obviously, we'll be making sure to take into consideration that TSM does have earnings, but for the most part, that's what I think could happen going forward. I think we still have that opportunity to make that shorter time frames divergent. Yeah, let me know how it goes, but you got to up the time frames probably, right? 2-hour, 4-hour maybe. IWM breaking weekly expected move. Yes, it's getting right up towards it. Notice what's there. Notice what's there, a divergence. So if I'm looking at IWM right now, I'm going, ooh, 15-minute divergence all the way across all this. If that confirms down, bad things can happen. But do I want to fight that when I see GME? Well, GME is turning back down. So this would more so, if we're taking it from a probability perspective, if the 15-minute curls down, 30 minutes going to curl down. You have divergence all across this. So a 2-hour pullback can take place here for IWM. That's how you would read into this at this point. Happening on a Wednesday, pulls back by Friday, then we see what happens. Volatility, just looking if bigger time frames start to confirm down like an hourly, right? We still have the opportunity, and this would make sense, right? Because this would show up almost at the same time. Okay, we're good. And this would show up at the same time. You see that 30-minute divergence for the SPY, and we get a hourly divergence here for the volatility, and it will show up on a 30-minute, but it looks pretty clean on the hourly there. So looks like we are seeing a little bit of positivity. Let's see if that can continue throughout the day. We are noticing the dollar jumped, okay? The PCC sitting in the middle. So this kind of means we need to watch by the end of the day just to be a little careful, but we are seeing things curl up. We don't necessarily have the full rig behavior performing for us. I would really pay attention if we just like see some good stuff today and then we hit some expected moves or something like that by the end of the day for a lot of these. Palantir trying to get that bounce from where we kind of want it to. He said like 40. Wanted it a little lower, like 40.32, but right in this little area here makes a lot of sense. And you got right to that area, the top of it, and now we can see if that, would be good. Had momentum yesterday. The problem with Apple is all it did was, and you know, a couple days ago we were saying, if it does pop out of this, really watch out for a trap. That's what we said in a video a few days ago, because the 2-hour, if that just turns down, you still are holding the divergence points pretty well here. And then if that goes down a little bit more, daily divergence is there, and that's a very bad looking divergence. It's a great look for a breakout, but when it fades right away, right, we don't see that extend higher, get the full retest and go again. That's going to be troublesome. We didn't get, the big thing here is on the 2-hour, you didn't get rid of the divergence point well enough, right? You had it down here. You did not get rid of it enough. You needed to break even higher. You needed to break above this level. You needed to get up there, right? Now, if this 2-hour curls down, it curls right back up. Hey, no blood, no foul, no harm, no foul. You just curl up, right? But if that 2-hour curls down too much, you cross down in daily, that's daily momentum with divergence saying we're going down. That's what it's saying. NVIDIA bounced from the golden pocket. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Yeah, we have NVIDIA trying to bounce up. That one's going to be like a 30-minute crossing up. That's a good thing. And you notice we're not holding some kind of thing here anymore, right? We're not really holding that too well anymore. I don't think we are. I kind of want to draw it. And I think the main thing is taking this point here. Wow, God, my lines get thicker and thicker and thicker. So thick. Yeah, you would say it's kind of violating it now, right? We're getting out of it. So you don't really have that flagging taking place. Now you're seeing that upward price action take over a little. Still got to see if this thing curls down into negative territory, right? Anytime that happens, bad things. But you're noticing this from the Dow right now, screaming higher. So what most likely is going to take place? Well, a lot of these things might start to continue to curl up, like NVIDIA. Maybe it needs to consolidate into tomorrow with TSM earnings. Who knows? You know, I would expect investors to want to wait for TSM earnings. Damn, that's close. I think I should watch this for a little bit. MSTR we haven't looked at in a bit. Let's go look over at that, because I think this is good to look at too. See if that 30-minute can cross up. You're probably making little tiny 15-minute divergence here. Just pay attention. That could lead to positivity. Just know we have a lot of things happening throughout the week with some data towards the end of the week. A lot of this will depend on tomorrow's earnings, just to be very clear. But this could be the signs of a double bottom. If that 15-minute curls up, hey, you know, we just want to make sure if things are confirming and we're going to take upside plays in an environment like this, we have to be willing to manage trades pretty quickly, right? Just managing trades very quickly can really help. And you just wait for that confirmation. You go, okay, I got to manage the trade here. That's fine. We know in this environment, we're seeing some daily stuff. We're seeing some weekly stuff that does not look good if we start to go down. So if we start to go down on short time frames, I got to be willing to react. Volatility. That's what I'd say for MSTR. I don't think there's too much, but little 15-minute divergence maybe. Netflix earnings tomorrow will be a big deal. PayPal. The hell is PayPal doing? We got, oh, I'm on a 15. Okay, I was like, why does this look so weird to me? Also, stop moving. I don't like it. PayPal, weirdly enough, trying to form something here. I would take out that wick maybe just to give that good triangle look, see which way this thing can break. Right now curling up. So you'd say like 30-minute swing, you hope that's a big one. Maybe the 2 hour is able to get by the center line here. You see that, but you have a major 2 hour divergence. Did the daily cross? Yes, it did. Daily divergence is there too, so you got to be very cautious with it. Flat divergence across the RSI, flat divergence across the MACD. Be cautious. This could be one more move up. You notice that the Bollinger Bands even. You notice that this isn't going like this anymore. This is going like this, meaning you are coiling up. And so if you get that move down, it can be a bigger one because you can spread out these Bollinger Bands. So if you're going to get that next move higher, 2 hours is going to cross up, right? That's what you would say. 2 hour crosses up. Ooh, we see that positivity. Maybe I have a nice little trend going on here, right? Maybe something like this is happening. Few touches on that. Maybe we go up and touch that. Maybe we just go like this because we've tapered. Now I can draw another one. I can go like this, boop, go like that. And then I go, okay, so the lower one would be, oh yeah, oops, oh yeah, oops. And we make that divergence point there. But big divergences here for the 2 hour for PayPal. So be cautious. It's more like, do I really want to take this play or would this be the play? You know what I mean? Then if I see a move before earnings that goes like this, I can sell out, maybe break even and play earnings totally for free. That'd be nice. I actually kind of like that. I might do that. Dollar is going way higher, right? Breaking out again. Breaking out again. But some things are going higher, right? We do have, you know, the Dow trying to curl up. We have the SPY trying, oh, failing, actually. Q's failing. Ew, gross. Ew. Nvidia, not really failing, but a lot of things turning down. I really thought the Dow's holding up pretty well. I really thought this was going to mean good things, but we are testing the key level we broke down from again, right? Where we built that liquidity. We're going back into it. That wouldn't be the best sign. Dollar is climbing. Yeah, it is. It's up 0.24. But remember, we were paying attention to this. This is the important thing, right? This is why I think a trap by the end of the week would be likely. It's just because the market's gone higher for what? Weeks. The dollar's gone higher for weeks. And have we seen the big drop come in? We saw a little hint of it yesterday, but did we see the real big drop come in, aka we're turning down those big signals? Ooh. Not quite. Not quite. What the heck is MDX algo? They keep emailing me. Not quite. So I think this is a weekly trap, and I think this is going to be very freaking, I think this is going to be shitty. I think it's going to be bad for stocks. And we said this about Apple yesterday. Imagine yesterday, or was it yesterday? Hold on. Yeah, it was yesterday. Imagine yesterday we were like, imagine Apple's way down too. Imagine Apple's down 3% too. It's like, this is what they do to hold stocks higher for expirations and stuff. They say, okay, we need to get out of positions. Let's have Apple hold up the market a little bit better, because if that was dropping too, yeah, the SPY probably would have been down 1.5 and double what it was down. But instead, it stays up higher. Therefore, you remain in some key levels. You can get some bouncing going on, right? Now we're not even seeing that happen. We need to see if 5 minutes are rolling back down, right? Maybe it needs to make some little 5-minute divergence. Maybe it needs to go to buy a weekly expected move. Maybe this is just some kind of little handle. Didn't really react down to the best level. We reacted to here. I think that's good. But if we really wanted to, we could get a little trap going on, 5-minute divergence like this, and then it curls up like that. That would be an interesting look. Volatility not even scaling. Ooh, it's trying to on a 5-minute. It's trying. The Qs are the one with all the divergence points here. We're just not seeing that 30-minute able to curl back up. But we are building liquidity. If we can remain in this area still, you see how these bars are really, really tight in here? So eventually we're gonna break one of these sides, right, and hit some key levels. We'll see. Gold, one thing to pay attention to here for gold, 30-minute divergence. Let me look at, oh yeah, I have weekly expected moves for GLD now. What am I doing? Ooh, we could have gone a little higher, but we are closer to that weekly expected move. We're about, that high's like a whole point off, 1.5 points. Not the best look there. Not as good as Nvidia, I would say. Nvidia was pretty damn close here. Yeah, it was about the same. About the same. But Nvidia did curl up that MACD, so pay attention to that. You could just be getting some kind of 5-minute pullback. It's still relatively, look at that, it's still pretty positive here for a 5-minute, so that's not gonna curl back down on a 30-minute. We're just chilling. It's hitting the previous gap resistance now. That's what it looks like to me. It's hitting this bundle in here. AMD hating life. My AMD hating life right now. Google, really interesting, but just want to see that 2-hour curl down, right? Give us that lower high. Wow, AMC 2.4% now. Still not curled up. Damn, maybe you got to get back to like 437 to fully curl up here. GameStop curling up with a green over here, right? Green over here is what I want to see if that's going to curl up. I need to see green with it. Make sure it's a positive bar. That's what we're talking about. But let's see if that'll. Maybe they try to shake people out by Friday, though. Dow's still holding up decently well. We just need to see. It's got 15 minutes left. Never drink like that. I don't know why I just took a drink like that. I just like whipped out of a freaking bottle. Like a weirdo. TLT is outside of a weekly expected move experiencing, right? Isn't it? Yeah, it's outside of a weekly expected move experiencing something a little bit crazy. Let's see if something crazy is going to continue to happen. Not looking at a 30-minute. 2-hour curls up. You can see a reaction here. That would make some sense. Go retest that 4.062. That's our key level that we've had up forever. The daily scale here, going to want to pay attention to if that curls down, because that means great things for TLT. Let's look at a 4. 4-hour curls up. We might need to raise those rates a little bit more now. But TLT did what you were saying, you know, fill in some gaps. You said what, 95? We're at 95.34. Good stuff. Great trade setup. Now you got to start to think, okay, maybe I need to. It's still early on in the week. Do I take some contracts off and then leave some to see something crazy? You know, you got to make decisions with that, but. IWM. Not the prettiest look there, IWM. PCC still sitting in the middle. Dollar, not the biggest breakout in the world. You still want to pay attention if this 2-hour rotates down. Interesting. Tesla's still holding flat. Now you want to kind of pay attention, see if that 30 minutes still can cross. It's really close to that center line. Gosh, Tesla, that does not look pretty for you. I'm gonna let Toby upstairs real quick. I'm gonna let the old man upstairs real quick, and I'll be right back. 2 seconds. Nazim, mention it again when I get back, all right? All right, we're back. Don't worry, we're back. We're not gone. I know people see that and they're like, oh God, he's gone, isn't he? He's out of here. No, but what are you guys asking about? ASML. I think we're just late to the daily divergence. That's the thing. But it is curling up on... Oh, no, ASML. Sorry, I was thinking of something else. I was thinking of... Was it Ion Q or something like that? ASML dropping off a cliff. That was what ASML did. This one dropped off a cliff. Not a good sign for semiconductors, so that's why I'm like, TSM's kind of got to save you here. I know you got divergence forming here, but you got to make sure that that's actually completing. You got to make sure that's confirming, because that is a drop, okay? That's like daily divergence after getting terrible news. Yeah, I could pay attention to it, but like, they just got terrible news. Is this really going to just bam to the upside? Do I have reversal signals that say that's going to happen? I don't on the 2 hour. If you start to like take these big points that are really spread out, you know, I know we look at it, but it's when there's like a triple, like one wave. This has like a whole bullish trend for a moment and then comes down. So I'm not going to say that's divergence. It is there on the daily, but you might need to like see the 2 hour go like this, then drop down to confirm like, yeah, this is a bottom. If this just V-shaped from here, then something funky is going on. TSM has earnings tomorrow, I thought. I think it's Thursday. Do they announce after hours or something? Still in a bullish trend. Above the 200, I mean, with the moving averages, but we're close enough to go bullish here, curling up on a 30 minute. HD, that was it. Midnight, okay. Oh, of course they do it at midnight, dude. Of fucking course they do it at midnight. For HD, still want to be paying attention to if that 30 minute can curl up. This divergence, I know you probably see it and you're like, wow, a flat divergence on the MACD. It is nowhere near on the RSI at the same time. So I think the likelihood here is you're going to continue that trend, because you're not really close to the center line at all. Yeah, we can keep consolidating down in here, get closer and closer and closer, see that turn up. Watch out if this forms, right? And hopefully you made a weekly expected move for this, but watch out if something like that forms. That can be a little bit ugly, because when I'm seeing this, I can look at a 2 hour and be like, okay, there's some major divergences here. So anytime this 2 hour confirms down, I think this gets really ugly for HD. Home Depot can start to curl down on a daily scale. No real divergences there. Maybe it's just some kind of pullback, right? Maybe we pull back down into about 400, 397, somewhere in there. But you could also pull all the way down to the 50, maybe even go all the way down to here at 377, 378. So you have some very big signals for weakness and momentum here on the 2 hour. Very big signals here. Pretty almost holding every single divergence point the entire time. So maybe we look at a 4 hour, see what it looks like. Now 4 hour looks like hell, but you can see how that's just turning down. That means the momentum is not well here. So if I get a little tiny signal like this and I see a 30 minute cross up, I get a positive move and I go, oh, there's a little 30 minute divergence. That's what I'm kind of looking for to be like the tip of the iceberg, if that makes sense. All right, GME is curling up on the daily scale now. NVIDIA Still getting a little wick there. I still think DIA is the one that's going to give us a hint. If DIA curls up first, I think others will follow. Then I think the SPY goes and makes the divergence and the Qs go to the daily expected move. And then we have to see what happens with TSM. That's what I think is going to play out, just because I think it doesn't mean I'm a magician and know the future. I wish I did. Dude, if I knew the future, I'd be rich as hell. But I wouldn't even do stocks. I just make a couple of bets on like the Super Bowl. And then I would just like be like, all right, well, I knew, like, if I knew the future, I'd be like, I know Nvidia's going to go to 1,000. It's worth 20 bucks right now. Sure. I'll just buy that. You know what I mean? Probably wouldn't sit in front of a computer all day if I could read the future. Probably wouldn't be working like multiple jobs right now if I wasn't. Because everything would be so easy. PCC down at 0.83. Dow looking good. SPX not looking very good. At what point? Daily. Dailies. Daily cross. Qs. Daily cross. Apple. Daily cross. I think Nvidia already did. Oh no, Nvidia was the weekly. Nvidia daily cross, confirming divergence all the way across this thing. So Nvidia daily cross. Meta already crossed, more of a pullback look there. Netflix already crossed. That's already saying major weakness, but we can buy a little time on the shorter time frames, right? That's what we're paying attention to. So when am I going to say things are going down? When the daily crosses and volatility takes out this level right here of 23. That's when I'm going to be like, all right, sick. Let's pay attention for bear market moves and let's make a ton of money while this happens. So I'm saying volatility scales up dramatically and it actually forms a bear market, not some kind of big crash like there's just plummets. We're going to do really well on this channel, okay? Especially if you get that course in the description while it's on sale. All right, while it's on sale. Because if the bear market begins, we're just going to be like, hey, this is going to be first come, first serve. You got 30 days. Get the course. It will help you with the bear market. If you don't believe it will, okay, well, later on, if you believe it, the price will be higher. That's just how we have to do things around here. I've left it on sale for almost a full year, guys, so. But we have to see those signals. So if I still think we're having that topping process, we'll leave that sale up there. Give people more time to learn. And don't worry, we're not going to charge like some idiots out there charging 2,500 bucks. I want anyone to still be able to learn. It will be affordable in some way. Just really want to hand off my clients to an old friend of mine on the marketing side and be like, sorry, dude, I'm doing YouTube all the time now. Which they don't even know that I do YouTube all the time, pretty much. Yeah, Microsoft, that's kind of what we were pointing out in the early points of the day, seeing if that 2 hour crossed. If you notice on the 2 hour, really close to the center line, see if that crosses, but notice we're wicking up. We're wicking up, so we're not getting that full cross just yet. Maybe we buy a little bit of time here. GME, you gotta be a little more positive than that, my dude. Solid little bounce up for Palantir, pretty much where we would expect. Outside of a weekly expected move, went down into this little area between these, and that's where we kind of expected it to get to. Every once in a while you're lucky and there's a little moving average in there, but overall 2 hours pulled down. Daily hasn't crossed yet, right? We're still waiting for those daily crosses. Bitcoin, remember this about Bitcoin. You have some 2 hour divergence that can turn down this 4 hour for a bit of time. Very, very flat up here, very downward for the RSI. So a 4 hour pullback still would make sense. I know we caught the low of Bitcoin. We showed the divergence. We saw how significant that was. We said this can really turn up a daily scale. This can turn up pretty good. But now we're seeing that same like little 2 hour signal in here, kind of like we saw right here with these two lows. And now we're turning down, but is that a bad thing, or are we just going to grab some buyers to head up because we're very positive? Yield curve when passing above 0 is a leading indicator to recession. What site do you use? There are oh shoot, what is it? Let me go look real quick. I don't use it too often because I just pay attention to the numbers, but one that a lot of people are paying attention to is the 10-year 3-month, right? Because we've already uninverted here. The 10-year 3-month is going to be one to watch. Let me go find this real quick. I know I can find it in my history because I looked at it the other day. Or maybe I could at least get a screenshot somewhere. He has it, right? I always forget, but this guy has the best one. This guy has the most clear one, and I always just like use other people, right? I try not to do work if I don't have to. I'm not gonna be able to find it. Let me do this. There it is. All right, so what you can look at is one that I pay attention to, at least one that I've used before, is going to be the, oh, what is this? St. Louis Fred, right? So what I wanted to see here is you want that to cross that 0 line, right? So once that crosses that 0 line, we can get pretty close to seeing something bad, because that's the tight one. The one that judges pretty much like 18 months out or something, 6 to 18 months, is more so going to be the 10-2 in my opinion. I gotta bookmark that page next time. I'll look for it tonight and make sure to bookmark it for the right one, because there's a better one than that. PLT is starting to show a little push down. Yeah, I'll look for the better one tonight because I know it's in there somewhere. I was just looking through my history and stuff. God, now I want to find it. Over here, up here. These are switched over. They're uninverted. The 10 years higher than the 2-year. They're getting pretty close again to going back inverted. They were more spread out than that in the past. The swing trading one, when I swing trade, I more do it not with options. But the option strategy that we give out is in the using technical indicators course. So it was in the technical analysis course, the one where we go through everything. We teach you about the ranges. We do all that stuff. Very good. It's a very good bear market strategy for when volatility is higher. That one is more around options. So that would be a 90% off. It's $100 right now down in the description. I will put a note here, and thank you, Terrence, for going and taking that course. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think. I will make a note here and make sure to try to get that info for you for the 10-year 3-month. Pretty sure it's 10-year 3-month is what people pay attention to. Let me look again. Yeah, because the 10-2 just went, so you'll see the difference here. Oh, you couldn't see because of the camera. I'm sorry about that. The this is the 10-2, right? The fred.stlouisfed.org, and then you can go find that. you need that link there, it's right here. But that's the 10 and 2. But really all you have to do is like type on Google and put like, I'm just lazy. All you have to do is type the 2 time frames, like 10-year, 3-month yield curve. That's the main one I think you want to pay attention to right now. Then you click on that. We go over to the same website, right? You see Fred, St. Louis Fred, T10 year, 3-month. If you need to pause the video or something to kind of take a screenshot, you'll notice the difference here. We haven't seen that cross up. I think that's the main one. Like, look, March of 2020, what happened? We crossed up, and it was like March 6th, I think, that the market really started to suffer, I'm pretty sure. So that's when you really see it. Really interested which way the Dow goes. 26 minutes left in this bar. I'm gonna stay on for the time being because I gotta see if these things are turning up with you guys. Spy's about to go down for the nap for lunch. Yeah, Spy's about to eat some lunch. Maybe. We're very close to turning things up. I mean, I know a lot of the volume, right? 30, 40, I think it's 30% of the volume comes in the last hour of the day. So maybe this just holds out till the last hour of the day and then we see some Dino Nuggies. Back when I was a comedic TikToker, I used to talk about Dino Nuggies all the time. People really like Nuggies. Not good to see these rejections here. Gold screaming down, yeah, 30-minute divergence for GLD. Something big to pay attention to there. GLD, see if that confirms back down. Gold went down October 7th to October 8th. October 7th, October 9th. So maybe if gold comes down, that's not a bad thing for stocks, right? Dollar tried to make that big breakout. We'll see what happens with that going forward. 30-minute, don't really look into the divergences. You want to be paying attention to the 2-hour ones. That rotates down, we can see the dollar start to drop. Volatility still spiking down. See if that can confirm down on an hourly. Next bar is going to be pretty important. So just before my lunch, we might see if this is able to curl down, create some divergence point down here. Still, I think the 30-minute for the Dow is going to be the big deal here. Thinking about it. Let me go take a pee on it. I'll go take a pee on it, see if I want to do something here. Be right back. Not a good sign from the Dow. Not seeing that strength continue. Still 23 minutes left in the bar. We're taking back all the moving averages. Nothing too bad there. We kind of piled up the moving averages, which is nice. Boeing. Boeing 30-minute double bottom. Curled up the 2 hour, which didn't really have divergence. Could just be some kind of bounce for now, unless we're curling up the daily. Daily's rejecting with daily divergence and rejecting. Very flat on the RSI, but at these levels, you would say a lot of the time we do see some bouncing from these levels. That was the good trade right here. This one, not the best, right? Daily rejection divergence, no divergence point here, but you do have it on the RSI, so that could be some kind of bounce. I'm sorry, GME broke the high of day. Big deal. That is a big deal. Big deal. What were we looking for here? Was it just a 30-minute cross up, something simple? Yeah, 30-minute cross up, something simple. See if that can remain by the end of the day. So choppy, yeah. I think Bitcoin does have the opportunity to pull back on a 4-hour chart. That's my opinion right now. So if you notice, the 2 hour does have divergences here, and it's very, very wonky on the MACD, but you could see it very clearly on the RSI. So I think you're going to get maybe a 2 hour, if it's short, 2 hours still very positive, so I can pay attention if that rotates back up, holds up a little better. But if we see more of a pullback here, I think the 4 hour would be nice. Pull back into these areas, everyone gets bearish on it, then you touch that zone and you just curl up into positive territory, or maybe you hold up better than that, right? So I think this is still the main thing to pay attention to. You are getting like a weekly breakout for Bitcoin, so you got to pay attention. I mean, it can act on its own. It was breaking out a second ago, but if that weekly can really cross up, you would say, oh, great, weekly swing trade, right? We pay attention to the big time frames for Bitcoin. Back over to here. Change this. Righty. I'm a nerd. Last night I watched the timeline, the lore, the timeline for Resident Evil. Sick. I'm a nerd. And I'm cool with it. Remember, that's the main macro signal, but I think the dailies will give us a big hint there. Uh-oh, rejection. If that 15-minute crosses, watch out. 5 minutes crossing. Still look like you could consolidate. See how this looks in 20 minutes, then I have to hop off. Gosh, AMC is so close. Get above that 21.45. I'll be a happy camper. SPY, you do not want to cross down on a 5 minute. We could go make divergence if that 5 minute crosses. IWM very positive there. Volatility still dropping off and the SPY not seeing great positivity. PCC sitting in the middle. Dollar a little bit elevated. Just don't think you want to cross over that 5 minute. See if DIA is the same way. I see DIA more positive, so you're kind of okay with the 5 minute crossing down. It can move lower, but you have to think, like, if we come to this level, we want to grab liquidity, we can grab liquidity in here, but we could also use this little bundle. You can use these highs, all right? So we could do something like that still. Oh, I'm still in 5 minutes. I still think spreading it out, just looking at the slightly bigger picture on a 30 minute is the good thing. You really cup and handled very well, so to build this back is very interesting. Not bad. Oof, Amazon. You gotta hold up there, big boy. AMD looks like it might want to go for a bounce. Is Tesla wanting to go for a bounce? Nope, holding flat. Apple, are you wanting to go for a bounce? No reversal signal here for Apple, so a bounce still makes sense. Get some kind of curl over closer to the center line, so that momentum into negative territory can be strong. Microsoft trying to build back up. Google trying to cross up here in a positive territory. Netflix trying to base out. 30-minute divergence for Netflix here. That means the 2-hour might extend here. I know we get earnings, so be a little cautious, but we could make that right shoulder early on in the day, see if that fades. It curls up in a positive territory. A little bit likely to make a lower high, I think. You're in the key level. You see the left. You see the head. See that right shoulder. Uh-oh, that wouldn't be good. SMCI curling up on a 2-hour right now. WM still holding that divergence there. Let's go see 30-minute charts now, because this is very close to crossing. The closest one's the Dow, so let's just focus on this for a little bit. I'll keep, what do I want to keep here? Maybe volatility, actually. Volatility, as of right now, crossing down on the hourly in the first 5 minutes of the bar, just so you're aware, is coming down pretty damn fast. But TLT is not. Oh, wait, the Dow. Sorry, I'm clicking around too much. My bad, guys. Give it another 15 minutes here and see what happens, because volatility is coming down pretty dramatically. QQQ looks ready to drop its pants. TSM's so flat, it's insane. It's almost like barcoding. That's crazy. Well, yeah, but if you're taking into consideration, you're like, oh yeah, well, November's usually bullish. At the same time, Frederick, you're like, well, October's usually bearish. Hasn't really been too bearish. I feel like we're hitting all-time highs in October. Normally that doesn't happen until, I would say, what, mid-November you start to hit those all-time highs according to seasonality. So it's kind of hard to be like, oh, I want to pay attention to seasonality. The seasonality is not working out this month, but it's definitely going to play out next month. It's just a little bit eh. I think we're actually very high potential for the major top. I'm not saying we can't go to 600. I'm saying if we go to 600, then that's definitely going to take the Qs above this high, and we'll probably see a corrective move in some way, 10 to 15%. If we're able to head way higher from here. I think you get a trap by Friday. That's what I think. My genuine opinion there. But I'm down to be wrong. I'm just going to follow the signals. If bullish things happen, I'll be bullish. If bearish things set up, I'll be bearish, just like NVIDIA yesterday. 2 days ago. So I get you, Frederick. It's just hard for me to be like, I'm going to trust that November upside when October really did not see those lows that it normally sees. Even in an election year. Yeah, everything kind of rides on TSM too. Well, I think a lot of YouTubers might try to pump the market because some people get paid by stocks to talk about them, right? Only one day bearish, today's bullish. I mean, as of right now, you have a 30-minute for the Dow that's holding above all the moving averages. Not really a bearish thing. We haven't seen momentum confirm that we're going to test the high, go make a new one. There's not necessarily a bearish thing here just yet. We need those bigger time frames over and over and over again. I like the daily cross up for TLT. So from an investment perspective, I'm looking for those daily cross ups, right? I already got it at 82.50, great trade setup, got it, went higher, sold out of it, went higher again, took it, made a little profit there. Awesome. Now, if I'm going to take a reversal signal, I just don't want to use too much. I don't want to risk too much if I'm investing. What I want to do is I want to, okay, I'll take a little investment here. This looks like a good level. And then after that, I'm going to apply the rest of my investment if a daily crosses up, yeah. I like bigger, like investment, you got to think investment, you need bigger time frames, right? Because you're investing for a longer period of time. See all those boxes on the porch? You're like, ah, yeah. I knew someone that did all the reviews or something like that for Amazon products to get them for free. They would review like 10 products a month. They would just send them free stuff. Key thing is, what do I eat for lunch today? Do I go to Firehouse Subs? No, we've been trying to eat decently healthy at home, actually. That's what we've been doing most of the time. Wifey made a bomb chicken parm the other day. She was like, what do you want? I was like, for some reason I want chicken parm. She goes, hell yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. Cool. Kava we haven't looked at for a bit. This is a lot of 30-minute divergence, but if this doesn't play out, this looks like 2-hour pullback, doesn't it? Ooh, no, not 2-hour pullback at all, actually. We're really trying to top out here, maybe. Ooh, that daily crosses, look how significant that would be. Ah, and that looks like an inverted hammer. So this might mean the gas is out after today for Kava. That's what it means. I mean, it's just me being a little genuine there. That's what happens. I mean, it's not the best reversal bar in the world, but if that daily crosses down, then Kava might be heading down. Oil screaming down. So oil really liking the fact that their oil facilities in Iran are not going to be bombed. But I'm kind of like, but Israel has said also that they're not going to tell the US what they're going to do. So I'm like, what if they just tell them the opposite so they're not prepared? Oh. Oh, Kava is a good place to eat. My bad. My bad. I'm in stock looking mode right now. All right, let's see. What was the one that was close? Oh, the Dow. It's highlighted. It's highlighted. Come on, 9 minutes. So close to crossing. Just do it. Come on. Meta looks really bad. I mean, from the, you would say, more dramatic pullback scenario. But if things start to turn up, I think TSM can do something this week. I'm not saying it has to be bullish, right? I'm prepared still. But I would think a trap going into Friday, get that expiration going, that would hurt a lot of people. I'm more thinking like bear market. So your mentality in bear market is, this divergence that I'm seeing, will it hurt a bunch of people? Because bear markets are set up to hurt like everyone. So if you're like, I see a 30-minute divergence, by that weekly expected move, it just crossed. Well, is this what would hurt the most amount of people? Well, the options market's taken off guard. The put levels are higher. Okay, this looks like it needs to curl up on a 2-hour. Okay, it bounced on a 2-hour. Now what would hurt the most people? Oh, we look like we're basing out. We didn't have a 2-hour divergence. We have a 30-minute divergence on a 2-hour now. Okay, let me take that to the downside. Then that goes down, makes a 2-hour divergence. You go, okay, now people are really bearish. So now we're going to get some kind of daily big bounce, some kind of one of those bear market rallies. That's how it works. You have to really put yourself in the mindset of what would really mess people up. And it's messed up, but that's how you have to think. It's genuinely not like sometimes I feel bad doing it, but you have to be like, how could the most people get hurt here? And that's kind of what you think during a bear market if we go into one, which volatility is already behaving like we're in one. You guys want to see that? When was the bear market? 2022? All right, here you go. Here's a bear market. Look at the 50. Look at the 50. Look at the 50. All right, now tell me that that doesn't slightly look like the beginnings of. Well, look at the 50. Look at the 50. Look at the 50. So it's not pretty, but I think market makers can make great money in bear markets because they literally can just like keep people building liquidity, get people very bearish, then send it higher for a sec. Then people get euphoric, and then it goes lower. And then usually on the second push lower on a 2 hour, people are like, okay, this definitely has to crash. And then you see a bear market rally. My thoughts on Microsoft are it had a 2 hour, and if that crossed, that'd be bad. That was my thought. Has it crossed? No, you got 7 minutes till it completes. So it crossed for a minute, for a little bit this morning, and then it wicked all the way back up. So that's good for it. It means maybe I could buy some time here. Maybe I'm going to turn up a 30-minute for a little bit of time, but 30-minute rather a little bit negative, right? Not the most negative, but a little bit negative. So if we want to make a reversal signal for real here, maybe this shoots up like this, gets people euphoric, and then we just do that. That's what I think could happen, but I got to be aware of lower high. So Microsoft, the main signal is 2 hour curls down into negative territory. Yeah, and I think we didn't get that the last time, right? You didn't really get that the last time. Because if you go look at the SPY during the bear market, and I think it would look better on the futures, but if you really go look at this, 2023, it was here, this. If you really look at this, we still had kind of like this big run up and then a big dump, but technically you would say maybe this would dump a little bit harder than that. But look what was at the bottom, guys. I want you to see. I want you to see. In a bear market, look what was at the exact bottom. Significant divergence, right? Look what was at this bounce. Flat divergences, right? Look what was at this bounce. Divergence, all right? So you will have opportunities, and if you want to understand this, right, a lot of you have taken the course already, you're going to do well in a bear market. If you need to, zoom out to 2 hours, right? Zoom out to 2 hours, look for them outside of weekly expected move, maybe pay attention to 30 minutes for those 2 hours to curl up for that good position. But for the most part, you could do daily signals and pops to the upside, calls, right? Pops to the upside. And notice we see the divergences to the downside a lot when we do see bear market behavior. See them to the downside a lot because people are really trying to get the downside, really trying to get the downside. And then what they do is they use upside just to get people euphoric and then poof, use that liquidity. And then in here, you'll see little 2 hour divergences, 2 hour divergence. I think that was a lower high, not really divergence. 2 hour divergence here for the double top, and then daily divergence for the actual top, which is why we're paying attention to right now, right? Daily divergence all across this thing. Yeah, it's building up. Well, that can get ugly quick, so. So let's see if we can curl up. All right, we got 5 minutes left. Let's pay attention to the Dow. This one's the closest to crossing. Let's just watch this for 5 minutes here. Burlington I can look at on my other screen. And then if it seems like good setups, I'll talk about it. A little bit flaggy. Ooh. Yeah, a little 30-minute double bottom. That was cool. But that's just talking about the past. I'm sure you're asking about now. You're hitting key levels. Ooh, okay, yeah. Okay, so for this, just watch if this curls down on a 30-minute. This can be a 30-minute double top. You see the little divergence point there. All right, you have it on the MACD. Boom, you have it very significant here on the RSI. So if that goes like that, it means 2 hours is going to curl down. 2 hour here, you saw the 30-minute. You had a 30-minute divergence here for the low. You had a 2 hour divergence for the low. Okay, so if this isn't enough and the 2 hour needs to get a higher low, if it needs to go make a divergence again, that's what I'd be paying attention to if that 2 hour can curl down. But first, that 30-minute has to curl down. first. Whoa, weird. I have the same chart up and it's like drawing on my other chart while I'm on this. Creepy. So just pay attention to that. But is the daily curling up? Because you did have 2-hour divergence. Daily hasn't turned up yet. Okay, so you don't feel fully safe in that play until that daily really confirms up, just like a 30-minute. I don't feel fully safe in a 30-minute play until I take profit or a 2-hour curls up, right? So that's what it looks like to me. Daily curls up, you can see more positivity. 2-hour curls down, bad things, and you do have a 30-minute double top forming, not confirmed. Let's go back over to this guy. We got, what, 4 minutes left? 2 minutes left, 2.5. Oh, less than 2.5. I can't read. All right, big guy, what you gonna do? What if it's probably just like sits, and then crosses up randomly, maybe? Still positive, very good, little positive trend here. Great to see, right? Great to see. We see the big downside. It doesn't mean your work is done, right? There's always traps. Sorry. Got something in my eye. My eyes, they're burning. Thanks, Jackal. And I know your name probably doesn't mean Jackal, but I like calling you Jackal. It's a good time. Let's go look. PCC still not in an area where we can pay too much attention. I think shooting the market higher to really push people to the call side would be the move here for market makers, but that's just me, right? I'm trying to think how I'd hurt the most people, and I think you hurt the most people by being like, no, it's not crashing. Yesterday was a blip. Then you get some uh-oh. Some uh-oh moments. $30-minute for GME. You're trying to cross up on this bar, and we're getting above that 2145, which I really like. But cross up on the daily by end of day, that's what you're looking for there. Cross up on the 30-minute, you got a good chance, right, Shane? You see how close you are. Boop, $1. Need another dollar, and you're above 22.22. What does a dollar equal out to? Like 4% from here? Yeah, like 3.6. So the big thing is this, though. It's a 30-minute, so you can pay attention and react based on that. Just know the 30-minute, we're about to go into a Friday. A lot of the time they clamp down on this by Friday. But the daily curling up is what we really need to see here. If the daily's curled up and we are going into a Monday, ooh, I like it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Pick a bam here. Right, 10:30. All right, 10:30. Let's look at how that Dow is reacting right after we get very, very close to crossing. So now you see how we're kissing. We're kissing. We're just waiting to see if that thing can curl up into positive territory and complete the bar, and things can look okay. So I have to hop off. I kind of have to close down the stream right away because we went a little bit, 30 minutes over. But I was trying to go till then because the charts look interesting. So if I see anything interesting, I will show that over on Patreon. So if you want to see a little screenshots of things that I'm paying attention to, if something good pops up, right? I like highly probable things to pop up or just a note for something you to think about. So you can join that Patreon. But if you want to learn before we get into that bear market, while it's on sale, you can grab that down in the description as well. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a very, very good day. How about this, Dave? I'll look at one of those for you. Which one do you want to see more? I'll look at one of those for you, Dave. Which one do you want to see more? I'll look at one real quick. So stick around for a second, Gary, but thank you for being here. Let's see. Which one do you want to see more, Dave? Cost? Or is that square? I've just always used it, if I'm being totally honest. When I first picked up technicals, I used SMAs, and I've always used SMAs. Now, my 20 is an EMA. My 20 is an EMA NF. But So if you wanted me to give you a reason, it's just because I've used it forever. And I'll just be honest about that. I've just used it forever and it's working for me. And so I'm like, I'm not going to mess with it too much. If something's working, I'm not going to mess with it too much. You know what I mean? All right, Dave, I'm just going to look at cost for you real quick, and then I really got to go. So, 2-hour pullback, okay? That's something. So once again, and if you can take these things from my strategies and you have something that works a little bit better for you, I'm not encouraging you have to do things exactly my way. You can do your way if there's a little change that makes you do better in your trading, right? Makes you more consistent. I'm not saying you have to do everything my way, right? You can use this information in totally different ways. You can use weekly ranges information in totally different ways, right? People can use daily expected moves probably for day trading in some way. But for the most part, that's why I've done what I've done for so long. I'm going to keep doing that because it's working, right? I've just never changed it. For the most part, you're kind of in a range here for Costco. Costco. And if that 2-hour crosses up, positive things can happen. But one thing I want to look at, okay, and if the daily crosses up, positive things can happen. One problem here, though, is the structure. Left, head, right shoulder. You got a pretty solid line right here. So if you start to break through there, get a retest, you could really go negative fast. All right, so something you might want to pull up when you're seeing looks like this. Let's just see if a weekly looks interesting. And look at that, you just confirmed weekly divergence. So I wouldn't really be overexcited to take upside plays with a weekly divergence confirmed. And where you confirmed, you're at the same level. You haven't even seen the selling come in. So that tells me Costco most likely does go down over the next, I don't know, few weeks. But if we curl up into positive territory, we can always extend something. That's why it's good to be like, there's the macro side. What's the little bit less look like on the daily? Okay, if we curl up here, I can maybe pay attention for divergence. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it. Screw it, guys. We're going to do it. All right. So this daily swing trade, that's the main thing here. Is there weakness in this move right now? That's what I'm interested in as we're getting overbought. Not necessarily. A 2-hour pullback would make a lot of sense. You're probably going to have a bunch of 30-minute divergence here. So as it gets closer and closer to the center line, that's when you want to pay attention. So I'd say if this curls over soon, that's when I'd be paying attention, because this 2-hour really needs to see just a pullback, right? We're not saying this has to be some kind of big crash here for this one, because the 2-hour is so far up there, it's going to be a little difficult. It can happen, but you're also going to an area where it seemed pretty important last time. So if you get that pullback before and you cross through that level, it can be a good thing still. As we go over, let's just leave it on the Dow for a second here while we close out. You guys always like to keep me around. The 30-minute, we just have to see if this can cross up. That's going to be the big thing. It's not the worst thing in the world to be consolidating on a 5-minute in positive territory to see the next breakout move, right? This could be a simple ABC pattern. Let's see where this would take us if we just get the simple ABC. Let's see how it's getting smaller too. Look at this. Getting smaller. What if that move happens like right after I get off and we head up to 43.2K? Right, that can happen. So mainly just looking for, does the 30-minute cross up into positive territory though, right? That can easily be distributed down right now. It's turned down saying pullback and it's getting closer to the center line so on the 5-minute. So it means be careful, but if that can curl up on the 30-minute in positive territory, I could maybe take a little play up towards 43.2K, 43,200. For the DIA, that would be like 432, right? 432. Something like that. And and this isn't saying that you're wrong. It's just saying if my timing is off, this is what I'm going to look for. It's not saying I'm wrong necessarily right now. It's like, but if this turns up, maybe my timing's a little bit off. Maybe we do this, then curl down. And if I have longer out expiration, maybe I don't even react to this. I just say, yeah, I'm scaling in, right? That's kind of something that I've been talking about, how I've scaled into some plays lately. Because it's super hard to find the actual top, right? It's super hard to pinpoint the exact top. But I think we have a good shot if we turn up here to be able to maybe pinpoint the exact top, which would be very, very fun. And then we can talk about it in Saturday's video. But I really do have to hop off, guys. I'm sorry I have to do it, but I appreciate you guys being here today. Thank you guys for liking, subscribing, taking the course, joining the Patreon. You guys are awesome about it. Really appreciate it. Really enjoy this community. And I look forward to seeing you guys later today. If something crazy happens, I'll hop on the live. But look for that YouTube video later tonight. Make sure those notifications on. Other than that, I'll see you tomorrow live. All right, peace.